Hey there, guys. It's Mia here. I am so excited. As always, I am so excited about this topic today. I'm going to talk over the next couple of minutes about how do you know when you are ready to pivot? How do you know it's time to do something different? How do you know that you are ready to face the thing that you've always wanted to do that maybe you have been delaying? I'm going to break that down for you over the next couple of minutes. I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant, and I got started in my company about 20 years ago. And I simply made a decision that it was time for me to pivot. Had a background as a corporate trainer, wanted to figure out how I could go to work, I said, as myself. I wanted to leverage my skills, my talents, my background, my experience for myself and package it into a business somehow. Well, fast forward, I've had the opportunity as a result of building an amazing coaching and consulting company to coach thousands of women over the last 20 years. And the women are smart, they're sharp, they're highly capable, they're action takers, they're go-getters, they're goal getters, right? Like 100%. And my vision was to support women with elevating what was possible for them to face their fears, and for them to understand that pivoting is necessary for elevation. And that's what I'm going to talk about today. Let me just make sure every single person is able to get this live, because I promise you that this is one that you're not going to want to miss. And do me a favor, if you have a friend that could benefit from or needs to pivot, invite them to this live and they will thank you. All right. I got started, like I said, 20 years ago. And for those of you who I'm just meeting, it's nice to virtually meet you. For those of you who are coming back, you have watched me build the business and build the brand from scratch. And I want to say this, first of all, as I jump into this topic, it does not matter where you are in terms of the idea that you have that you want to start this business. It is absolutely possible for you. And I say this to you to give you hope, because when I got started, I launched initially as a mom coach, and I built a coaching practice into hundreds of people, into the hundreds. I had an opportunity to get signed to several Emmy-nominated, nationally syndicated television shows as the mom strategist, as paid talent. I've had the opportunity to be featured in magazines and many television segments as the mom strategist, building the brand of me. I've done a number of strategic corporate partnerships with large brands like Panera, Marriott, Corporation, Great Harvest Bread Company, just to name a few. And I say this to you because when I got started, I didn't have evidence, hear me, that any of the things, the ideas that I had, that they were going to work. I had no validation in my world. There was no one else that I saw as a mom coach, and I said, that's what I want to do. Exactly what you're doing. I had this idea and I packaged that idea, and I learned how to price and offer and value what I was doing properly. And I understood how to position what I was doing best, what I could do best for others. And as a result, hundreds of women came. And I've had the opportunity to support those women, always selling what I had, one-to-many, and group coaching and consulting programs, right? Whether I was working with a corporation or working with individuals. So you're in the right place today. If you've been wondering, I don't know if I don't have a product, Mia. Haven't built my consulting packages, my structure. I don't have these things. That was me. Okay. So hang in there. How do you know when it's time for you to pivot? And I thought that it would be best if I started the conversation from the perspective of why do people not pivot? And I wrote a couple of notes. Y'all know what I do, right? And one of the biggest reasons that I have seen over the years that women don't pivot is because of comfort. And I'm probably talking to you, okay? Because of comfort. So a lot of times, you're already comfortable in what you're doing professionally. You're already making a great income or salary. And as a result of that, you're thinking, man, if I start a business, you're thinking about how taxing it's going to be. Once I leave work, my 60, 70-hour commitment, right? If you're lucky. And how am I going to find the time for my dream? And I know that I just read your mind, because it's something that I hear all the time. or you're comfortable because you're already making a good income and you don't need to run a business. But there's a calling that's on your life that's bigger than what you're doing at work. And that's what we're talking about today. Another reason that women don't pivot is often because of fear. And fear can come in a lot of different ways. It can look a lot of different ways. And I want to just talk about this from a couple of different perspectives. I have women who, the way that they handle fear is they start thinking about or using their family as an excuse or shield not to move forward. So they'll say, I would do this in my business, but it's when my kids, graduate, or me, I'm paying tuition in college, so I can't move forward. Or maybe they say things like, I've taken on this other role in my church or in my community and I'm super busy. And the reality is that they are just afraid of owning the great things about them and what the possibility is. And what you've got to understand is that there are people right now that need what you have. And I don't care what's going on in the market. I don't care how many layoffs that you hear about. You got to understand that maybe, just maybe, what you do properly packaged could be the answer for that person that needs you through their pivot. And so we don't need you to build something, where it's afraid. You have to face your fears. And when you face your fears, you get to live with an incredibly different gift. You'll learn new things about yourself that will surprise you about yourself. Number 3, the third reason that I hear why women don't pivot often is because of association. And let me tell you, I know that you're surrounded with loving family and friends, but a lot of times we don't have people our own ambition level and above. You have folks that are complacent, they're happy where they are 100%. They don't want more than what they got, and they don't necessarily even want you to have more than what you have. All right. And it's not that they're being spiteful or or low vibration. It's just that some people are low ambition people. All right. And I want you to understand, first and foremost, that association, being in the community with people your own ambition level and above, can change everything for you. I have seen this over and over again working with women throughout the years, that they have been in communities with women who are doing things, rocking things out, and the stories they were telling themselves about what was impossible, who wouldn't buy, that they couldn't charge, 10, 15, $20,000 or more per product for what they were offering. When they were in community with other women that were doing it, they no longer could believe the excuses. Association will change you. And on being in community with women who are like you, your ambition level and above, is every single thing. And the reason that women don't pivot is often because of need, right? Like sometimes you haven't faced your dream long enough, that you haven't danced with that dream in a long time. And because of it, you forget what it is. Like it's there, it's inside of you. It was like the book you were going to write that you stopped writing, or that you wrote the chapters, but you never finished it. You know what I'm talking about. Sometimes we have a dream that's on the inside of us, but we've stopped it. And we've forgotten about the girl that had that dream. And I'm not talking about dream for dream's sake, but I'm talking about that calling that was on your life, the thing that you have always felt purpose to do, the thing that you were doing in your spare time just for fun, that you were meant to do on a bigger and a higher level. Are we clear? All right, today what we're talking about is, how do you know when it's time to pivot? And what I've covered already are the primary reasons that I've seen that women who are fully capable, smart, sharp, ambitious, incredible, why they don't move forward, while they use their life as an excuse. A lot of times people don't move forward because of resources, right? Or they believe resources, time, money, and energy. And what that means is a lot of times they're giving time, money, and energy to other things, but not to themselves. Does that make sense? And those are all priority decisions, because what I have learned over the years is that the investments that I have made in myself, my family have been the direct benefactors of my growth. And the same is true for you. Now, what can pivoting do for you? That's what you came for, right? And here's the first thing. It can allow you to reach the possible goals. So pivoting, making a decision that, like, okay, I'm working and I love what I do, but I'm also going to do my thing on the side so that I can replace my income, right? It allows you to move in the direction of what is possible for you. So sometimes when we don't start, we think things that are possible are impossible. But I will tell you, I've seen it over and over again. I've had clients, many of my clients have retired from their full-time jobs and now are full-time entrepreneurs. And it all started literally from them making that decision, investing in themselves, being committed to doing the work, having the accountability that they needed, and the strategic advisement, and they've been able to take the thing that they thought was hard, that was impossible, and it was possible. And here's the other piece of this: when you are deciding to pivot, what you got to understand is you don't have to have all the answers. And a lot of times that's one of the biggest mistakes that we make. I think that it's one of the things that is the most discouraging for so many, because you're great at what you do, but you don't have to have all of the answers yourself in order for you to launch. In fact, wisdom, I think, would speak to the fact that you find someone that's doing what you want to do, or find someone that has helped other people, multiple people. There's an example of what that looks like. And you say, listen, I want to lock arms with you and I want to learn from you. That was me. I wanted to be a full-time entrepreneur and work from the comfort of my home. And every single mentor I've ever worked with all worked from the comfort of their home. I always said, if you're not free, you can't teach me. And I did not want to figure out how to build time-rich models all by myself. That's ridiculous. I just learned from others who were living that way and building their businesses that way. Are we clear? Number 2. What pivoting can do for you: silence what you thought was difficult. That is so key, because maybe where you're sitting right now, you're like, I could get started, but then I have to do this and I got to do that. I got to get this license. I got to get this attorney. And you start coming up with all of this huge list, and the list isn't prioritized. And you start thinking about how difficult things could be. But the reality is that when you get started, you make this decision to pivot, and you have the right mentorship and advisement, you understand the priorities, what you really need to do versus what you believe you need to do. And that is called, like, being smart as it relates to moving in the direction of the change you want. The reality is that most of the women that I work with, I help them to build and package their products within 6 weeks. And many of them do it even quicker now with AI, but it's not just doing a generic version and letting AI describe who you are. You are brilliant. You're amazing. You come with some unique skills and talents that, knowing how to properly position what you're offering and understanding the highest level of value that you can bring your audience is the thing that will set you apart from every single person. And I promise you that your clients aren't looking to work with you because you're a part of a niche. When I was a mom coach, nobody came to me because I was just a mom coach. They came to me because of the specific results that I could create for a certain type of mom. And likely, you just need to understand how to build your coaching, your consulting, your training business around what your proprietary method could be. Okay. And I've helped thousands of clients do exactly that. Number 3, what pivoting can do for you: it will allow you to get to know yourself again. So inside of you are the seeds of greatness. And a lot of times we have stopped dancing with that part of ourselves that allows us to feel fully expressed. Okay. When you decide to pivot and go for the thing that you really have been wanting to do, but you haven't made it a decision to do it, it will allow you to get to know yourself in ways that are incredible. I always say you get to be fully expressed. You'll feel more alive and excited. So the discipline that you feel like, I don't know, I have the time, I don't know if I have the discipline to do it, that all goes away because you are doing the thing that you were purposed to do. And when you start doing it, you start feeling like more of yourself, if that makes sense, right? And I've seen it with clients happen over and over again, that they go from unclear to becoming clear around who they are in the truest sense. You got to remember that ideally, your clients, there's a part of you in them. And likely, the more you get to know who you are, the more you can relate to them and what's going on with them. I see it all the time. Clients who, forgot about what they put in the garage, what is on their bookshelf, the things, the outlines that they've created, the coaching courses that never got launched. And the reality is that once you step into those things and you have the level of accountability and the structure and the system, you change. You become more excited about what your gifts can make room for and how you can change the lives of others as a result of what it is that you know how to do. Are we clear? Is this making sense? Now, if this is making sense, even if you're watching a replay, I want you to write, this is making sense. And the fourth thing of what your pivot can do for you is your pivot can replace your full-time income. And I think a lot of times we never think about it. Like, you hear a lot of times people talk about, your side hustle kind of thing. And we think of starting a business sometimes in that light. But I have watched women defy what they even thought was possible because they had the level of coaching and mentorship and the commitment and the accountability that was necessary in order for them to be able to step into the business they wanted. And because of it, they were able to replace their income. They created options for themselves. And that's what a pivot does. It creates options for you. So I hope that there is something that I said today that really supports you in understanding, like, what the reasons why maybe you haven't pivoted or launched yet. Okay. And what pivoting can do for you. And if you are interested in the pivot and I could support you in pivoting, and I could absolutely support you, then I want to invite you to a 90-day sprint. We call it the 6-Figure Plus Sprint. It's a 90-day sprint. It starts in a week, where I will, over the course of 90 days, support you week by week with not only the training, but the accountability and the implementation in an incubator, sort of like a boot camp, to support you with hitting 6 figures or more, laying your model for your 6-figure foundation going into the new year. Now, this is for you if you've been saying, I know I need to pivot, I need the right mentorship, I need the right structure. You're not interested in patching together what it is that you want to do. You want a full solution. You want to work with someone who has a proven track record. If you've been watching me over and over again, we have hundreds of results. You can just go to miaredrick.com and look on that page for testimonials and see for yourself, or go on YouTube. There are tons. There are hundreds of them. And these are women who are very much like you, who started with an idea, but they decided they wanted to pivot, and that they wanted to say yes to themselves. They wanted to figure it out, and that they wanted to work with a mentor that could support them. So the way that the sprint works is on Mondays, I drop a new training for you that you'll get in the comfort of your home. You have the opportunity to do that training. And then on Thursdays, you'll have an opportunity to do a group mentorship call with me, in which case I can answer any of your questions and also explain to you how to make the changes you need to get yourself to 6 figures or more over the course of 3 months. Now, here's the coolest thing. When I thought about doing this, I thought, this is not going to be for anyone. This is going to be that person that, one, has the ability to see themselves hitting 6 figures in 3 months. Okay. And or more, right? They've already done it, obviously, in their profession, and now they want to add 6 figures in their business, in their coaching, consulting, or training, or licensing, or speaking business. 1. 2, this is for the person that is an implementer. So you are going to need to put about an hour and a half at a minimum in your business each week in order for you to have that outcome in 12 weeks. But here, how cool is that? Right? And you get to be in community with other women, your own ambition level and above, who are also doing the same. And that is the thing that likely in your pivot has been missing. You're home, you're working by yourself, you're holding yourself accountable, but you already know that if you miss the deadline and it's just you coaching you, it doesn't matter. But if I'm coaching you, it absolutely does matter. Okay. So that's one of the things that's really important. And then also at the end of 3 months, we are meeting for a live event and an in-person event, in which case you get to share your results. Now, here's the coolest part to me. when I thought about doing this, one, I thought it would be crazy fun to do. Two, I already know that we're going to create amazing testimonials as always. I hosted something like this about 6 years ago, and it was very successful. 80% of them women that attended hit and exceeded their goals, and it was really electric and exciting. And I know that if I have the opportunity to mentor you with a small subset and a small window to run, we can absolutely get this done. Now, it is for that person that understands. If you've ever come to any of my events, you know ticket prices start at $2,500. Okay, and this is probably one of the best opportunities. Is my gift to you for you to say yes and for us to get this out the park, because it's not what you would expect. It's not $10,000 or $15,000 or $20,000. You can get started for only $1,250 a month over the course of 4 months, or you can pay in full. It's $4,000. And an event ticket is $2,500 for a basic ticket at my event, $3,500 for a VIP ticket. So you're essentially getting coaching for 3 months for $500. All right, just think about it. I listen, and I'm gonna bring my A game. And why am I doing this? Because one, is fun, and I think it's a great way to kick off the year with such a beautiful community. And I've had one of the best years ever in my business, and I want to pass it on to you. I want to pay it forward, and this is the way that I do it. So if there are any questions that you have for me, then you can, as you watch this message, you can do a couple things. You can DM me, depending on what platform you're on, and we'll get right back to you. You could go to miaredrick.com, my first and last name.com, and on our chat, you could send a message as well. I will get directly in contact with you. And then for those of you who I have worked with before, you already have a direct source to be able to contact me. Now I'm going to post a link here for the sprint, for the six-figure sprint. And all you need to do is go to that link and register today. Now, here's the deal. This is not going to be one of those classes where there are hundreds of people in it and you aren't seeing and no one knows what you're doing. There will be a small number of individuals, a small subset, so that I have the opportunity to coach and mentor you to get you to your goal. And I think one of the greatest parts, even though there is no risk, because I have never had a failure for people who do the work. If you do the work over the course of 12 weeks and you don't hit your six-figure goal, I'll continue to work with you for free until you do. So come on. Okay, like I've just laid it all out there for you. So my goal is just to see more people win. And when we hit the number, we hit the number, and that's it. Okay, so I'm looking at around 25 individuals in this particular cohort, and I'd love to see you there. Are there any questions that you have for me? I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have the opportunity to bring this to you. If there are, like I said, you can DM me. You can go to miaredrick.com. Or if you've worked with me before, you know exactly how you can reach me. All right. I love you. Or you can even post here on the thread that you're watching this video on. All right. I love you. And I hope that you have a great and amazing rest of your day.